Today is one of those low-key sketchbook days when I felt like sitting with a cup of chai, good music, and draw a lot. But first, let's get down to making some chai before we set an agenda to today's sketching day. I'm Sneha, a visual artist and designer based in London, and I'm inviting you to chill with me. Go grab a warm drink or cold if you're in the southern hemisphere, or feel free to work along with this video. I'm going to be chatting about all things that I'm usually asked on my art journey: inspiration, sketchbooks, tools, making serious work versus fun, and a lot more. But first, one of my many trusty notebooks, this one is from Taylor Rowney, which I find myself purchasing again and again. One of the features of this book is that the page is really thick, and I'm not a wet media person, so I'm not sure if that works on it, but I know that the ink doesn't bleed through on the next page. Another thing is that I love using brush pen, but on this paper I somehow don't enjoy the resistance. I usually prefer smoother, thinner papers for my brush pens. I found myself using gel pens a lot when making quick sketches. It's one of those tools that just helps me ease and relax and not think too hard about how my art is looking. Whenever I find myself adding colors, which I pretty much do, if you've ever seen my work, you would know that I'm big on colors, but at this stage, I just like to sit back and create as much as I can. I find that adding colors just bothers me too much about the color aspect and the balance. Colors can either make or break the art, so I kind of stick to black and white sketching at this stage. My idea is to dump all of my thoughts, my inspirations down on paper as fast as I can, and to move on to the next little piece. Even if it's not good enough, I don't judge it a lot because it's all about creating a piece right now. I started this practice back in the pandemic, or maybe a bit before that actually. When I got a notebook, if you saw one of my videos, you might know this. I got a notebook, I started calling it my crap book. Yeah. And then I started drawing a lot. And I was not as good, but I feel like it brings in a flow into your work when you kind of give up the idea of perfection and that your art has to look a certain way. As soon as you drop that expectation, I feel like your art starts to look better and better and better. So for me, that journey started with scrapbook. Another big question that usually comes up is of inspiration. And I honestly used to be in my own bubble in the past as inspiration came easy to me. It used to be everywhere, and I used to think, why are people asking me? Can't they see that it's everywhere? But then it hit me, a block. I have not wanted to create as much this past year. And to say that I felt a lack of inspiration or a desire is an understatement. So I feel it now. I did not want to draw for months. What has kept me going is knowing that I can do it. and that it's just a phase. In times like this, I like to take myself out on solo dates. I try to get out and draw outdoors, and also keep a notebook with me in my bag at all times. I don't often draw outdoors, but when I'm in the tube or I'm getting bored, I scribble a little. I've also found that drawing when not having the desire to draw as a practice is much better than waiting for inspiration to hit and then draw. When I set aside time to just dump all my ideas onto paper, it starts to flow like clockwork. But if I take long breaks in between my drawing days, I'm stuck with looking for inspiration and desire. It's needless to say that we consume a lot of media. So we consume subconscious art on Instagram. I've consciously reduced my intake of other people's art and instead invest time looking at other forms of art like ceramics, sculpture, photography. I love going to museums and exhibits. I'm lucky that way because London has plenty of ongoing shows at the Tate Modern and a bunch of other art spots. When not going to an exhibit, I love going to art markets. I love spending time in bookstores, to be honest. Magazine stores are my favorite places to be and my favorite thing to do on my list. That and cafe crawls with pastries, that's a perfect example of a solo date itinerary right there. Do any of you feel the pressure of having perfect looking spreads? We see so many pictures that look polished and have no mistakes whatsoever. Of art books and sketchbooks, I mean. I used to think that way too. I hated making mistakes in my sketchbooks. I had so many unused ones lying around, not because I was picky, but because I used to hate making mistakes in my notebook. But that mindset just stagnated my growth as an artist, as a person, as everything that I stood for. What artist learns by making no mistakes after all? I thought that I've been too hard on myself and those rules were completely made up. So I decided to actually make up some rules for my sketchbook session. Having no rules. Being messy. Even if that meant creating a pool of messy colors, I wanted to do that. Once I started doing that, I felt really free. The characters made themselves up, the shapes got juxtaposed without much effort, and my mind could create endlessly without thinking too much. My scrapbooking has taught me so much. I will forever be grateful for that exercise that I completely made up. girl that I'm drawing, that's not an original. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere, or maybe an image like this or art like that. I'm really not sure because we consume so much. This is my rendition of it. When practicing and drawing for fun, I think it's okay to take inspiration, or maybe in this case, heavy inspiration, as long as your intention is to try and improve your skills. After all, we all start somewhere. When it comes to client work or posting online, which is our portfolio now, the lines start to blur, and I feel like it's better to be on the side of lighter inspiration and not move towards copying someone's work. I honestly don't remember when did I start drawing small. My notebooks from a couple of years ago have A4 spreads, and I used to love drawing larger characters. It did take a lot of time and effort to get everything right though, so I think moving to smaller proportions was just a subconscious decision so I can create more. I love it when my spreads have multiple tiny artworks which can become their own full pieces if I decide to digitize them one day. I find myself going through my older sketchbooks and find stuff to digitize all the time. It's Diwali today as I'm uploading this. I miss home, the brightness of lights, the sounds, the mithai, the traditions of putting up lights with my dad. Having been sent a buttload of sweets from neighboring houses and people that we know, bursting a few firecrackers, going to parties, and most of all, my mom's food. The first year that I moved out of my parents, Diwali was the festival that made me the saddest of them all. I could not go home 36 hours away for a one-day festival without a break at school, so I stayed sad that year. And for a while. And maybe the next year as well. That's when my local friends started inviting me over to their homes. Even if they did not celebrate with pomp, it made me feel like I was part of a family. I learned then that I have to find my own family wherever in the world I may be at. Today, I do have a small circle of friends I can call home away from home and share many memories with. I hope that you have a warm fuzzy holiday season, but if like me, you're feeling lonely or miss people in your life, make sure to create your own little rituals. Small things that would help you through the season. I bought my own lights, flowers, some lamps, and store-bought sweets. They have to do for now. I'm planning to cook up a big fat Indian feast too. Create your own little happy bubble and nothing else will matter. With this, I hope you found some inspiration, or probably my chatty thoughts helped you work along with me. Being a solo creator and working from home, I love it when other artists and YouTubers make chatty, long videos and I can just have art play in the background to work along with. Enjoy the rest of the drawing session and I'll see you soon, my loves.